If it's like a Mac, which one is like the ones me and you have, it'll never work. The Macs don't work.
You just gonna straight up talk during my intro?
Oh yeah, you could go ahead.
No. Okay. Welcome to Conversations with Robz. Today's topic is gonna be about being a parent and a college student. So I have two guests with me today. That's Mario. He's a father of a almost 1.5-year-old boy. And then we have Mary, who is a mother to two girls, right? How old are they?
I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Awesome.
They're almost 2 days to the day apart. Or 2 years, sorry, 2 years to the day.
Okay, I was like, what? How?
I fixed it. It's okay.
No.
3 and 1. Clearly, horrible experience, you guys. Don't do it. No, I'm just kidding. It's good. Real tight.
But, so that means you've had 6 years of being a mom now?
No. They're 3 and 1. So I have 2
3 and 1.
toddlers. Yeah, 2
Okay.
toddlers. So they're 2
Hey.
years apart. They're 3 and 1.
So it's 3
You know
years.
what?
of being a mom.
2 kids,
3
just
years,
multiply that by 2, and that's the experience you've got.
Yeah, a lot.
I guess.
I guess.
I don't think that's how it works.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's very different from having 1 kid to 2 kid too, though. So crazy. That's real crazy.
So, like, what kind of, like, challenges have you found, like, since becoming a parent and a college student?
I don't know. I guess you could say like spending time with them for me, just because I work too, so I work full time and then I go to school full time, but then I have to take care of them too. So it just depends. So what I've done now is I requested like a weekend, just so I could spend like I guess time with him and then also like work on homework at the same time. But it's hard because you have to choose like kind of one, I guess. Because you can't focus on homework and focus on your kids at the same time. You know, multitasking is not as easy. I don't think we're made to multitask like that. So I find it very hard sometimes.
I can agree with that. But also for myself, I think it's a little more different. I don't know about Mario, but in my household with my first baby, I had dropped out. I've actually dropped out of state because I couldn't do work, take care of her, and like still go to school. Her dad had exited for that time, and it was this real. I had to pick. Like Mario was saying, there is no time to do your homework. And me personally, I feel like for as a mom too, like, and having a daughter, I was extra like nurturing with her, so I would rather drop out of school and like work, provide, than do schoolwork. So I feel like
that reminds me of something my grandma always told me growing up, because my family is full of teenage mothers and like our history just goes off that teenage parents, and so my generation is like one of the first generations to not have like a kid like from like 17 and under. So like all my cousins and us, like we've all had like kids, at least older. Myself, I've not had a kid yet, but I have a couple cousins that closer to 20, they started having their kids. But it's something that my grandma always told me. She said, when you become a parent, that becomes your number one priority in life. Like that life is the number one thing, and everything else comes second after that. So that being said, I think that's a great mentality to have, and I think that's definitely what I would want to strive to when I have a kid. But with that being said, you guys had dreams and goals to reach before that, and though having a child may not have stopped that dream, how do you think it has affected it? Do you think that you changed your dream, or are you still chasing for the same one, or how what do you think?
I was gonna say that if anything, it has motivated me more. Just because I don't want to just drop out of college, like, and then me not finishing it. Because I've thought about that a lot. Like, just like, oh, I'm gonna just drop out, focus on work, and then focus more on my kid. But then I'm like, do I really want that? Because I want to. I'm a first generation student, so I'm about to graduate before literally anyone has in my family. So I'm like I want him to like see me graduate, or know that I graduated, and that I did it. So if I could do it, he could do it. And yeah, I just think it has motivated me more. But there are those times where I'm just like feeling down. I'm like, damn, like I don't know. I space out a lot, so I don't know. I feel like it just motivates me more though.
I can agree, Mario. It does motivate you a lot more. Um, like for me, I wanted to be a veterinarian at first, but um, and it was really like my daughter that made me change it. But I actually ended up becoming a tutor with teaching fellows, and in the process there, I was working there, and while working there, it just I loved it. You know what I mean? Teaching was like a calling to me, so I ended up switching my major when I went back to school, and I started City again last semester. So that was not last semester. This time last year. So it was real good. It was a good switch. So far, it's been a real good switch, and luckily, the girls have been like motivating me to like graduate for them. You know, there's a lot of good programs for single moms too. So I feel like it's something we could accomplish both you two together.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, what about education calls out to you as a parent? Is it the working with the youth aspect, or is it, or what is it that spoke to you about education that made you like, after you become a parent, you were like, this is what I want to do?
I think it goes back to like myself. I didn't have many teachers growing up, you know, that really stood out. But in elementary school, I might have had like two. You know, middle school, I had one, and then again in high school, I feel like I only really had two. You know what I mean? And a lot of that, although they were all great teachers, you know, and they were able to teach the core and all that, it was more the emotional support and like the support they gave and like showed and taught to not just me, but like the whole entire class, and like anybody that like even came into the room, they were always so welcoming, and like, you know, they made it a safe place and made you want to learn. They made you want to be there. You know, it was kind of like, I kind of feel like I should pay it forward, and, you know, or I can pay it forward. I have the ability and the heart and the, even honestly, even the smarts, like, you know, I'm not dumb, but, you know, I'm ditzy sometimes, but I'm not dumb. Like, you know, I'll sit and I could whip out a 12-page essay and it'd be all good and factual and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But so I definitely feel like because of the teachers, you know, how they taught me love, and then being in that spot, you know what I mean? I was able to reflect, like, hey, you know, like, is this what, Robert, as you know, me and you, Mr. Gotts, is this what Mr. Gotts vowed when he came back from retirement? Like, is this, you know, just stuff like that, you know, especially with the schools I was tutoring at, there was lower poverty. So, you know, the kids there, like, they're bad, but like, they're so smart, you know what I mean? Like, you're such a little ass, and like, I don't know because my bad, but you know, it's like, you're so mean and like disrespectful, but you're so loving and you're so smart. Like, it's so crazy to see the two sides, and I love it. I like to teach them the more nurturing side of them to change their path. So, you know, I think this is the whole, like, support, emotional, like, all that's gone down the drain at Fresno Unified and all schools, Clovis, all that, you know what I mean? So I think me wanting to come back and try to help it, like the few teachers I've met so far, that's my motivation for all that stuff, for teachers.
Yeah, I really think like that's what makes a community better, is when you have people that come from the community that want to make it a better place, that go out and do these great things to represent the community, but then also bring it back to the community. Because it's one thing to represent the community, do all that, but if you don't ever go back and you don't ever give anything to them, then what's the use of you saying you're from that neighborhood if you're not doing anything for it? So and I think it's really good that you brought up, you know, that teachers teach more than just their subject, because I've always believed that there's teachers and then there's educators. I believe that teachers, you know, they teach a subject, but educators educate. Like they educate you about life, about everything. That's why I like the term educator more. And I know, like, realistically they pretty much mean the same thing, but to me, I guess in my heart, I guess I view educating and teaching in two different lights. And whenever I'm working with youth, I always try to educate. I always try to teach them.
I was gonna tell you that since you're a teacher, how do you see yourself as? But I guess you kind of just answered my question, and that'd be an educator, yeah.
Yeah, like I always try to. I want to teach kindness more than anything, because, you know, in the times that we went to high school, were probably not the kindest times. With social media was really, like, we were like that generation where social media became like its thing, and so like everybody was on social media, like, oh, did you hear about her? Did you hear about him? Did you see that girl's nudes get leaked? Or, like, you know, blah, 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 blah. And so the future kids that come after us, the ones that are in school right now, like, they're even more involved in that social media life than we were.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, they're dealing with, like, some stuff that we didn't even, like, think about.
I mean, not just social media, but technology in general, though, because, like, technology just itself is already big with the youth. Like, even, like, little kids, you know, like, because I work at Walmart, you know, but I see a lot of kids on their phone, like, as they walk. So, like, I mean, I'm a parent, and my kid is not, like, that old for him to be, like, on his phone, but, like, I don't know, I feel like dude, like, a kid almost hit, like, my pallet walking, like I had a juice pallet, he almost walked into it, and I'm like, dude, like, I get it, you know, the phone's, like, interesting, but damn, like, come on, parent, you need to, I don't know, try to help him not be on the phone, because he could have been injured, and it could have been my fault. So, I like, technology is big, though, so, I mean, us, since we understand about technology, you know, I feel like we're gonna have it easy, probably, because we understand it, not like our teachers in high school, how they were getting used to it early and like that. But yeah, technology is big in general.
I don't know, Mario. I don't know. I can agree with you though. Yeah, definitely the parents that are just like throw the phone at them constantly. That's totally terrible. Don't do that. Bad for the eyes, bad for the brain. Like, you're messing up neurons. Like, stop it. Don't do it 24/7. But I could definitely admit I am a guilty parent of getting my phone, throwing it at my baby, and letting her, you know, be on that thing. Go on YouTube, girl. Watch your Coco Melon. Like, I don't know. Take a rest. You're gonna sit down here for an hour while mommy sits down with you. Like, we're watching Coco Melon for the next hour. You'll see when they start talking. It's when they start talking a lot. It's you need to sit down a little bit and take some quiet time. Here's this video. Learn your ABCs. Like, you know.
I just try. I mean, personally, me as a parent, me and my partner, I don't try to give my kid our phone like that. Like, we'll put YouTube on the screen. I feel like that's about it. But I don't think he's at the.
But you know, it's also too, like, with the even the games though. You know, teaching with the county, because we do abcmouse.com, and she loves her activities. She loves her homework. She'll sit down and be like, "Mom, can I please do homework?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'll set it up for you right now if you want to do some homework. You want to do some activities too? Earn those tickets, baby." But she definitely likes that. So I feel like with something educational, at least that helps a little bit, you know.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Technology aspect instead of just being on YouTube or, you know, playing whatever games kids play nowadays. Game, I don't know, Fruit Ninja.
That's an old game.
Mary, that was out during our time.
Is that our time? I don't know, you guys.
Yeah,
I
it is.
don't know phone games either. I don't know. Catch me on
But
Webtoon. I'll read something, but won't play no games.
but that being said about technology, as parents, where do you think you can draw the line between like, oh, like this is enough time for you at your age to be on a device versus like having human interaction? Because you run, like, I feel like you have to be running the risk of these kids, you know, growing up without a sense of like human interaction, or like, you know, less human interaction than maybe we had. So like,
I think with that's a little bit more harder. You know what I mean? Just not in so much of like there's not anybody out there, but more of with everything that's happening in our world right now with coronavirus and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You really can't take your child anywhere to interact or for them to have a play date or them to do any of that. Even with the preschoolers and transitional kindergarten and all that with Fresno Unified, I'm signing up my 3-year-old and I just found out it's online and I'm just like, oh, like that's gonna be weird for her to do. Like I'm gonna have to sit down and do it. So I'm still trying to figure out how I'm gonna balance my class time with her class time because I'm the only person that can help her. So that's even more too, where like, oh come in, like, she socializes, but now it's not like how we were. When we were kids, we were outside, we were running, you know what I mean? We were drinking water hoses, we were eating dirt, like, all that weird stuff, sharing candies, like, and now it's like not like that, and it's so different for the kids, and like I feel like their sensory learning is going to be totally different. Like this new generation, they're going to be something else because their sensory learning is going to be way different from what ours was.
Yeah.
More different.
Yeah, I agree with that.
and then so because of that, do you think that these kids are gonna grow up with different kind of social cues?
Oh, definitely. I mean, with everything the kids are seeing right now, even like with my sister and my brother, they're 17 and 15, 17, they're high schoolers. And even the stuff they say they see on the internet, it like has me like just shocked. Like, what? They'll send me little links and, oh, look at this TikTok. This guy blew off his head. It looks so fake. It's real. And I'm like, what? Like, why are you watching that? Like, how can you stomach that? Like, why are you on this app? Like, does my mom know you have this? Like, like all these questions. And I'm just like, wow. Like, it does show you like how easy and like vulnerable our society is. Like, not even just children, but like the society in general with technology. Like, it's a dark world, dark web, dark all of that. And so we just hit the surface.
Do you fear for your children growing up in this kind of like society where anything can really be said on social media anonymously?
Yeah, I guess so. Seeing all the crazy stuff on Facebook. I don't know if you guys are big on like Facebook and like reading articles, but sometimes when people are getting shared a lot, and the the abuser in the situation, they'll sometimes get like all their stuff leaked out. All of a sudden, this person's phone number's out, address, their mom's address, their sister's address, all their information. Like, it's crazy how easy and like accessible it is to everybody. Like,
yeah,
you're getting this from your first and last name. Like, really? Like, that's so crazy. Like, even for us, like we're able to accidentally link with someone else's iCloud, and like all of a sudden we get their messages because we linked accidentally because Apple for some reason glitched and everything's mixed up. Like, that kind of stuff, that's weird, that's scary. Like, that's my banking information, those are my pictures. Like, scary. It makes you like think like all the stuff they could find, and you could be like it could be used against you. That's crazy for your children. Like, it's scary. It's scary.
Mario?
Nah, I don't know, bro. I feel just like I guess that's one of the reasons I kind of afraid to have my kid like use a phone. But I know there's tablets that are made specifically for kids and stuff like that. So I mean, that's where I'm like, like 50-50 about it. But I don't know. I feel like that's just something I'm gonna have to face down in the future if I ever have to face it. Um, how do I feel about it right now? I really don't know. I can't give you a definite answer because I could say one thing, but down the road is something else. So I don't know. Internet crime is so different. I feel like I don't know. I don't know, bro. Their cybercrime, it's so complicated. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
you're a criminology major, so you probably have studied a lot about stuff like this.
Yeah.
Oh, so you know
Cybercrime.
totally different. You know like so much more about it than me, yeah. So, if are we allowed to ask questions too? Like, I'm kind of curious about this now. I
Yeah.
didn't know I was a criminology major. So, would you be able to get like input? Would you be more fearful of, something happening to your child, the way we grew up, or would you be more worried about how
Wait,
everything?
say it again. Yeah, I could really
Like,
understand.
okay, like you grew like how you grew up, our generation,
Yeah.
you knowing how crazy our generation was, physically and all that kind of stuff. Would you be more fearful for your child growing up now, what I mean, now that you don't know what's to come, or would you have rather your child grow up in a more like
No.
crazy in-person life like how you did?
Yeah, like I definitely be scared for my child to grow up in a like cyber world because what they say, everything that gets put up on the internet or whatever you share or whatever you put out there, even if you deleted it, it's still out there. Like it's still somewhere there. They're like if it's in person, like if it's like when we grew up, like younger us, just whoever saw it. It's not
Yeah,
like we had it like a Facebook posted on like that.
yeah, that's true
So
too.
therefore I do fear that like in the future I fear for my kid just because I don't know what he's gonna be sending. I don't know
Yeah,
what people send or what he's gonna send. So if someone screenshots it, there it goes, and
yeah,
you might think, oh, I deleted it. No, you didn't. No, you didn't, because things do stay around for a while. So that's why I fear like he's gonna send something inappropriate, screenshot it, or someone gets a hold of it and there goes this thing. Like I don't know if you guys heard about the Chris Evans thing,
oh,
Captain America leak.
on Twitter.
It's gonna be there. It's
Let me
there
tell
for
you guys, I was not impressed. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but yeah, dude, like that's pretty scary.
Yeah.
And I don't know, bro. Like it's a lot of things that could go down just through the internet.
Yeah, yeah. And just even by the smallest accidents, just like Chris Evans, like like one mistake and it's all gone. Like
Yeah,
it's there forever,
yeah,
which is really
exactly.
scary.
Yep.
So back to college. How has being a college student affected your teaching style versus some of your friends that are also parents that maybe aren't college students?
Hmm. How do you answer that without sounding snooty or anything? No, I'm just kidding. Um, well, I feel like you really can't like judge like educational wise, you know what I mean? Like you can't say, well, because I went to college, I raised a better child. Like, you know what I mean? I think that more goes for like, that's just that you just can't really base that off of like school and if like, I have a better education or not. Now when it comes to like the person being more not put together, how do you say it? There's never first of all, let's go with this. You will never find a perfect parent. There's no such thing as perfect parent, and I think you really can't judge what another parent does. You know what I mean? You can't really, you don't know where they're coming from. You don't know if they're breaking an already bad cycle. You really don't want to down talk someone's situation. It's real hard to sit there, like, and it's even then, you're sitting there and it's like you really don't want to tell someone like, hey, like, do you really think you should be talking to your kid like that? Because it's kind of like you don't want to step on no one's toes. Like, I know I'm not
Yeah.
the perfect parent. I know, I could do better in some spaces. You know what I mean? I know I have my days where I might yell ugly, even though I love my child. So I wouldn't want to like judge someone else different than that. You know what I mean? Like, I can probably say, yeah, going to school has helped me see my child differently. You know what I mean? Has made me feel more respect for my child and to know I should treat my child, you know, better than what I could be doing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, going to school and, you know, actually hearing it from someone else, like, you know, yeah, they do have feelings, yes, you know, all this stuff from child development, it does help you open your eyes, but you can't really, like, judge someone on not doing it, just because it's like, you know, some people learn better from a book and being able to accept it, some people don't, they got to learn it themselves, you know what I mean? They're going to have to learn it the hard way in 20 years if for some reason the child decides not to talk to them, you know, like, they're not going to be able to reflect until then, and we all learn at our different times, so we really can't say anything, you know? I don't know. Am I rambling? Yeah. Am I getting my point across?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to, like, offend anyone. But, yeah, that's how I see it. I don't know. So I really can't say education has, like, made me judge anyone, you know? I guess it's more of just judging myself and doing what I can to do as a parent, you know, or maybe help, like, a close relative. But that's only if, like, I really think, like, hey, you know, like, maybe you shouldn't lift your babies with your hand closed. Maybe it should be an open fist, you know, like, open hand. Open hand says it's not abuse. No, but, you know, so just things like that, you know. Or, of course, if someone's asking for help, you know, I feel like that's okay to usually put your input in, you know, but asking for your advice. But if they're not asking, don't say nothing, you know what I mean? Not your place. Not your place, baby. It's not your place. But, I don't know. Mario, any thoughts? No.
I don't know.
Well, I think it's a lot harder too. Again, Mario, you're a baby. You said he's what, a year and
like about to be 4 months.
4 months. So you're a fairly new parent too. So maybe it's, you know, you haven't had to experience it. Okay, put it this way: how many of your friends have kids?
I don't know, less than 5 for sure.
So you'd have to say, you know, that right there, you know, like if you have 15 friends, only 5 of them have kids, maybe you don't see them very often, maybe they don't, you know, for some reason are in that parent's life. So I guess it depends on people, their experiences too. I don't have like a bunch, but I do know a lot of people from high school, you know, and I do catch up with them time to time, you know, especially the mothers, you know, just because I feel like being a mom, you got to stand united, all that kind of stuff. So I feel it's probably different, you know what I mean? Mario, again, but a mom to dad, totally different experiences too. So you can't not count that either, you know? For some reason, I probably would have more friends with children than Mario, you know what I mean? It's more likely a woman to have a child than a man, or be in the picture, you know, anything else like that. Kudos to dads are there, Mario, you already know. Proud of you. But so yeah, different experiences, you know. Maybe Mario hasn't really like had the, you know, time to see other parents, you know what I mean? Very young, you know what I mean? Me, I've been doing it for 3 years, you know, so, you know, I guess this is different. 1.5 to 3 years. So definitely it's like legit, but yeah.
So there's more than just like, you know, educational status. Like there's also I would say that college students, like college itself, can be a culture. Like there's college culture. So that's different than somebody that just graduated high school and went straight to working, or you know, whatever they do with their lives. There's different cultures in the different areas that you go into. So being a college student, you're a part of a culture that people that aren't college students wouldn't really understand, because a lot of your friends that aren't college students, you'll be like, sorry bro, I gotta study for this final. Like they don't really understand the weight of like what you mean by like saying like, yo, this final's coming up. Because like to us college students, we hear the word final and we're like, that's...
oh damn. I ain't gonna lie, you said it right now. I'm like, damn, I need to do like I thought to myself in my head like, I'll have some stuff I need to do tonight, like do tomorrow.
I'm looking at the time, I'm like, damn, I got 3 hours to finish that essay. But it's okay.
You got this.
It's okay, we're not worried about it.
Like I said, that's a whole different feeling, and you get that through the culture that you're in versus somebody who's not in college. And so that mindset that you have of being a college student is what I was really interested in seeing, like how that affects, how you think that affects how you raise your child versus how you would see someone who doesn't have that same like social aspect of their lives happening at the same time as raising their child.
Oh yeah, it's definitely crazy, you know. Especially like I mean, again, like you say, you know what I mean, seeing your friends that don't ever go to college and they're just like living up their life, but like their kids kind of there just like on the sideline. It's like, I'm ready, coach, but like, you know, and it's kind of like, oh, like, what do you do? You know what I mean? Like, what can you say? You know, it's kind of hard. Like, it's really hard, you know, but I mean, me personally, I don't know, but I like to put myself on a schedule, you know, like how you said, you know, because like even right now, like taking time flies by when you're doing your own thing, you know, and it's like adult interaction, like let's do this. I want to keep talking. Fuck that homework, but you know, at the same time, it's like you really can't be like that because it really is, dude. Like it kind of is serious, you know, and it kind of sucks because you know your friends that aren't in college really wouldn't understand that, you know, they'd be like, oh, why? Like, what do you mean? Like, fuck that shit. Like, don't even turn it in. It'll be fine. It's just one assignment. Like, no, this one assignment is freaking 100 points. Like, what do you?
Yeah, I could relate to that because on Friday my friends wanted to hang out. I was like, no, I can't. I have to go home. I have to go home. It's due at midnight, like 11:59. Like, you don't understand. I have to go home, revise it one last time, make sure that when I download it, it's correct format and everything. They're like, oh, come on, just go. Like, they don't know. They don't understand. Like, they just say like, oh, you could do it some other time. Like, no, I cannot. I could do it maybe next semester if I fail the class. Like, but I can't do it another time. Like, I only get once to submit that assignment, and that's it. And you know, it all depends too. If your professor is a little, like, you know, I'm not gonna say the word, but if your professor is not cool with you like that, then there goes a chance you're not even a late assignment.
Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah, because you do have those teachers that are like, no, late assignments, point blank, period. Like, I think the past 2-3 semesters I've been back, this semester is the first semester that I've really had teachers be like, oh, you know, like, don't worry, you have until this date, actually, I'm changing the due date. And I'm like, wow, this has never happened before. It really has me procrastinating, and that's not good. No, but it's definitely making me learn that I don't have very good discipline right now, and I need to rediscipline myself because it's been a long summer.
Yeah.
That 3 weeks already passed. We can't even drop no more with that W, so this point is make it or break it. People in college don't understand that. No, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm sure there's things we don't understand either. You know what I mean? Like,
definitely,
what is that?
definitely.
I don't know what OT is. You know what I mean? Don't pay me.
I know what OT is.
I don't want it.
Oh, I done a lot of OT. Bro,
I'll call out every shit. I'm calling out. I'm making it.
No,
Cover
dude.
me.
You know what I don't like, dude? When I call out and I go back, they're like, Mario, why'd you call out? Like, this next time it's gonna be a different discussion. We're gonna have to talk more serious. Or like, I requested my days, you know, so I requested so I could have like 2 days off, like a weekend and a Tuesday, because that's when I have a evening class. And why do you need that? Why do you need that Sunday? You didn't go to school. Why do you need that day? Like, they don't want to like approve of it. I'm like, dude, like, have you went to college?
Yeah.
If you did go, and if you didn't like it, okay, that's good. But well, that's on you. You know, like, not for you. But you have to understand that there's deadlines you need to meet. You don't know how many hours you're supposed to spend per unit or per each class. Like a lot of things factor in, and I'm here 40 hours. Like, come on, man. You have to give me at least those days that I'm requesting. And 2 days is a little bit, you know. I should be requesting a whole week. Nah.
Okay.
Like 3 days.
Look, especially with that, especially if like, you know, they're like expecting you to, oh, put my work in front of me. Like, where first of all, I know for a fact if, you know, you're not gonna put me first, why should I put you first? You know, like, I'm not here trying to climb the ladder. I'm just here trying to make ends meet until I, you know, do what I actually want to do. You know, like, this is a stepping stone. Don't push me.
Yeah.
I'll leap on right to the next stone over. Like it's nothing but a thing. I heard Amazon hiring. All my friends will go work there apparently. No, I'm just kidding. I'm about to go back in my freaking. I'm about to go work with the students again, you guys. I'm about to go to Amazon. I heard Roosevelt's there. The whole class.
Have you heard that? Have you seen that meme going around Facebook where it's like people really just graduated from Roosevelt to Amazon?
Yeah, but hey, I heard that about all the Fresno Unified schools. That there's a
Hey,
little all the schools, Sunnyside, Hoover.
they're paying good money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
Good
paying
money.
good money, man. That's all I gotta say. They're paying good money.
you know what? That money does talk, and even with the night shifts, that still leaves you all day for freaking college. Like, especially with the online, I've thought about it, but too much good
Oh,
money.
how do you feel about online classes though? Like, I know it's a little off topic, but how do you feel online?
Oh my goodness, you guys, I was so much more better in in-person classes. Like,
I
don't
could
get me
agree.
wrong, again, I'm not dumb. I could get it done. But man, the discipline is just so hard. Like, my house has to be clean and quiet. If my house is not clean and quiet, I am up and I'm speed racing around the house trying to clean because I will not sit my ass down to write an essay unless it's clean in here. Like there can't be like I will do everything I can just to distract myself. Horrible. No discipline.
Yeah, I feel it. It's a whole like new learning experience, so
Yeah.
that's what really messes up. So,
Yeah.
and I heard next semester is gonna be online too, so that sucks. I'm like I was really looking forward to going back next.
I'm not
semester.
no, definitely me too. I definitely miss going and sitting in a classroom and getting that social experience, you know what I mean? And it's so much more easier too. I love hands-on, I love to be able to fucking feel a book in my hands and smell the paper. I love shopping for fucking new shoes, okay? I love school shoes. I love school clothes. Who doesn't love school clothes? A new zipper pouch for my pencils. I love how the way pencils smell. Brand new pack.
That one night before the first day back, you have your outfit laying there. Nah, I'm just like.
Yes, I'm that person. Like, dude, like I could wake up on a good August morning and I'm like, smells like a good day to go back to school. Nah.
Dang.
That reminds me of middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wake up, I'm like, it's 7. I'm gonna walk to the donut shop. Get a little crazy, get a 4 loco. I'm just kidding. Middle school was a wild time. No, but. Really
But
good.
so like, wow, what was I gonna say?
Was it gonna be about online learning?
No, oh, kind of. Actually, you're right. Thank you. So you mentioned that your daughter, your oldest, just started doing TK. You said, right?
Well, she's doing ABC Mouse. I'm actually waiting for a call up Monday to actually talk to someone from FUSD to actually get her into a school. And when she's actually enrolled and the paperwork gets through, we'll get a teacher and we'll go down to the school, meet them, they'll walk us through it. And then she starts classes. So like I'm assuming it's gonna be kind of like ABC Mouse, but with the real instructor and other kids. But I'm not too sure yet. I really haven't been walked through it. So I'm really excited for that. We'll see how that works out.
So, how much of that excitement is anxiety, like towards like trying to keep your daughter in class mode?
I think it's gonna be an actually really good experience for her. I'm not too nervous about her being in class. She's very smart. She's very talkative. She's like the most friendliest girl you can meet. Like, I know, you guys know me, I'm like super friendly, but like I'm kind of rough around the edges, you know what I mean? I'm very loving, but I show it through toughness, I'm a very tough lover, My daughter, she's the complete opposite. I mean, this girl is like just a light of like love, she doesn't want anybody arguing, like she'll go around, she'll like introduce herself so politely. Hi, my name is Dark Brielle, I love yellow, like the most far off stuff. So I don't think she'll have any problem like being like engaging with school. I think she's gonna have more of the problem of having to get off when it's lunchtime or having to get off because it's the end of the day and we're not gonna do it anymore. I think she's not gonna be able to understand like, hey, I want to do class, and it's like, no, baby, like you're only doing it from this time to this time. So I feel like that's gonna be our only problem. I'm not too worried about her like actually learning though. Maybe just like her to like not shut up, but we'll see. She talks a lot. I'm a big talker, so she talks a lot. I don't know. We both won't shut up, you guys. It's a curse.
And so, how many times have you been like sitting down? You're like in complete student mode. You're like, oh yeah, I'm about to like go through this homework. I'm gonna do this, and then all of a sudden you hear a cry, and you're like, oh well, there goes that.
For myself, I really wouldn't say that happens. You know what I mean? The person that my mom watches my babies, so she'll take them over to our house, and she watches them. So I really don't have any, oh, they're crying now. And I do try to get my homework done within that time frame, just so I can't be like, oh, it's Sunday night, she's crying, no, I can't do it. But sometimes I do lag and put myself in situations like this. So we'll see what happens, you guys. Good vibes. No.
It'd be a good essay watch.
Oh, it is. It's gonna be late, guys.
Yeah, all the best words come out right before the due date.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
It does, because it's like, all right, game phase, make it or break it. Go home or go, go big, go home.
That's when you start using language like, what really intrigued me.
Okay. I cannot, will not, should not, could not.
I cannot instead of can't.
Okay, I cannot. My goodness gracious.
Gotta meet the word count, huh?
Yup.
Or the page number.
The page limit, yeah. Man.
But what about you, Mario?
What happened? Yes, sir.
What about you? Like, how many times have you been like complete student mode and you're like, okay, I'm gonna get this done, and then all of a sudden your little baby boy is just crying, wanting your attention or something?
Yeah, so with that, so most of it's because I have schools in the morning. So my girlfriend takes him to her mom's. So I'm just chilling here, like literally from like, let's say 7:30 in the morning all the way till like I have to go to work, which is 1 or 2. So during that time, I find my time, and I think it's a reasonable time. I only have one class that I have to do Zoom on, and then I do my work during that time. But sometimes, I'll wake up a little late, I'm tired from last night, or I'm just not feeling it. I have those days. So, but it doesn't happen as often just because he's not here with me yet, like at all times. But when he's here, he could be like, oh, bugging me, like dad, calling me over or trying to take me to go open a door, or he wants his bottle or something that he wants to eat. But when he does do that, it's pretty hard. But you still manage. I feel like. But besides that, I don't really go through that a lot because I'm here by myself most of the time. And I don't even see him till like the Sunday. So I only see him like once a week or something, or twice a week. And yeah, that's why I try to. That's why I try to have at least one of my days to the weekend off. That way I can spend time with him. And then during the night, I'll just grind my homework. Wake up early in the morning, grind homework again, go to work. Same thing. And yeah, so that's why I don't know. That's why I want to quit like school sometimes. But I'm like, nah, I gotta push just for him. And I know it'll be worth it because I know the requirements for what I want to do, and I know I'd be free for me to see him and work full time and all that. So yeah.
And so, how does that make you feel when you are in those positions where, because you're a college student, you're always doing homework, and because you work full time, you're always at work, and it seems like your life revolves around school and work, when you want it to revolve around your son? Like how frustrated do you get? Or is it frustration, or is it other types of emotions?
I feel like it's all sorts of emotion, but mostly I get like depressed because I didn't see his first steps like that. I wasn't there when he was trying to call me, because he doesn't call me dad, he calls me Dada. So he'd be like, Dada, Dada. And so he'd call my girlfriend, and like it's just like, I get sad because then she'll send me a video of him like making a mess, and I want to be there when he makes a mess, or I want to be there when he's throwing his little tantrum, just because I want to experience that. But it's heartbreaking, but at the same time, you're like, if I'm coming to work and going to school, I'm doing it not just for myself or him, but I'm doing it for all of our futures. Just because I want him to have that good life. I don't want him to not live like I don't want him to live how I live, because I'm not saying I live horrible, but I didn't live the best life like that. So yeah, but it's I get depressed, but then I get happy at the same time. I don't know. It's just mixed. It just depends on how that week is going with school and with work. If everything's good, I don't feel too bad. But I don't know. I'm like an in between, Yeah.
And so, Mario, you're the son of immigrants?
Yeah.
So, that being said, you must feel a lot of pressure being, like you said, your first generation college student to graduate, right?
Yeah.
And so that plays a factor in your wanting to graduate, as well as being a parent, right? Like you know what your parents gave up to give you this opportunity.
Yeah. So like most of the time, like I feel like everyone uses that expression, but it feels like I have like a big weight on my shoulders, because I know that I'm not doing it. Like I said, I'm not doing it just for me. Like I want my brothers to know that I graduated, and my sisters, because I want them to do something too, like go to college. And I know my brother, he's 19, and I know like he's doing like a little program. I mean, it's not college, but at least it's something. And my other brother, who's like 16, or is gonna be 16, I know that he's like, oh, I don't want to go to college, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, dude, like that's what you're saying now, but I know how my parents work, because they work in the fields. I worked in the fields before a whole year, well, like a whole two summers. Like I don't want my parents to be working there forever, so I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna make sure I graduate, and make sure I try to motivate them to graduate. That way, in the future, our parents can be living just like off of us, because I lived off of my parents, or like how that mentality kind of thing.
And Mary, are you the first person in your family to go to college?
No. Well, yes and no. Between my parents, yes. You know what I mean. I'm the first child to be between them to go to college. But not like really in my family. My cousin, she actually just graduated from City with her associates in child development. So I wouldn't be the first one in my family, but like for my own intermediate family, yes. For my own brothers and sisters, yeah, I would be the first one to be graduated and in college and doing all of that. But I mean, my parents, they weren't immigrants, so I mean, it was totally different for us growing up. Although yeah, we had our own struggles. It's a whole different type of struggle, you know what I mean? So
yeah, definitely.
Again, too, you know what I mean? I'm not sure if Mario, if he's the oldest in his family, because I know being the oldest does a lot of weight. But again, I feel like you can't really compare people's, you know what I mean? Although, because I could sympathize with him, with being so much on his shoulders with being the kid with having to set the goal. Because although I'm not the oldest, I'm the oldest girl, so I was second in command. I was second mom, I had to change the kids, feed them, get ready for school, walk up to school, bring them home, help them with their homework, you know what I mean? Do dinner needed to be done. So I could definitely sympathize with having a big weight on your shoulder about needing to graduate. But I could so I'm definitely I could definitely sympathize with him, you know what I mean? It's definitely a hard thing to say, oh, well, you don't want to say you're doing it because you're doing it for someone else, of course you want to do it for yourself, but that does definitely play a big part and a big factor, I think, in especially again older children having to, set that example. Like that's a really high bar to set, and it's like when you're not reaching it does set you in some sort of like depression. It is kind of a real bad feeling, especially having children. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a real big thing too. You're like struggling in school. You have work. You're seeing your friends in their like social lives, and it's like, wow, like look at all this happening, and I'm like barely here holding on. But it's cool too, so it's like it's not like they're not going through their own stuff either, so it's kind of just like you're feeling kind of alone in this boat, but other people are in their boat alone too, or which just kind of coasting along together. So at least that's kind of nice to know that we're all struggling in our own ways. At least we're all sad.
A little unity and solidarity.
I'm sorry, what?
A little unity and solidarity.
Yeah, no, definitely. You know what I mean? At least we're all suffering together. You know what I mean? I'm glad we're all sad together. I don't feel as alone.
Okay.
I'm alone, but I'm not as alone. Like
yeah.
Like at least I know you understand me. Like that's all I want. Just someone to understand me. So thank you. No. It's cool though. It's good to find other people that understand it though. You know what I mean? It helps a little bit of that weight lift off your shoulders,
Yeah.
Like, oh thank God, you know what I mean. You know what I mean? I don't feel like such a bitch now nagging all the time. Like he understands. He knows exactly what I mean. I'm not just crazy. So it's good, you know what I mean? It's real good to see other people, you know what I mean? Again, glad we're all sad together. Mario, it's great. No, just kidding. I'll be thinking of you next time I'm crying in my room writing an essay. No.
And so growing up with like this, well, I don't know if you grew up like this, Mary, but I know Mario grew up in a similar way, and feeling the way that I do is it almost feels like you owe the people that raised you, right? And so you do all these things because you feel like you have to, right? In some ways, but because you want to in some ways too, but in a lot of ways you feel like you have to. And so I know when I was applying for college, or even when I was in the middle of high school, sometimes I'd be lost with homework, I'd be lost with personal issues I'd be going through, and it almost personally, like the adult figures in my life, the parental figures in my life, I've never had the connection to openly just talk to them and like for emotional things, to be like I've never had the strength to go up to like my grandma and be like, I want to kill myself, like, something like that. And so being like, I feel like we all grew up with like similar emotions, all of us, because I feel like our personalities match in some ways. And so that being said, do you sometimes fear that your child might feel the same way that you did and won't be able to talk to you?
I would definitely say yeah, and it's like, I know it's not something I'm going to do on purpose, but it's probably something that's going to happen for me being over coddling or over strict or overthinking it, because I know what I went through, and I know my mom went through, and I know how she was raised, and it's like all this family history, and it's like you're just trying to right these wrongs instead of like taking it for your own experience and trying to fix it. You're just like overthinking like everywhere, you know what I mean? It's very hard to know what to do, you know what I mean? Like, because I mean, again, to go back, I don't know too much about your family history. I know a little bit, knowing you, knowing your brother, friends, you know what I mean? We all did kind of grow up, in a similar sense, we could all say, we're all emos at heart, you know what I mean? Kind of got the discount. I'm sure we all have our own little, songs we could all connect with.
Yeah.
Me personally, going back to what I was saying earlier, I was the like second mom, so I can definitely see what you're saying. It is hard to go to your parents and express, hey, I'm upset, like I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that, we all do have our issues, so I catch myself every now and then like yelling at my daughter. I'm like, ooh, like that sounds like my mom. Like, I hope she doesn't hate me when she's older, you know? And it's like, it makes you like kind of change how you talk to them. Like, I definitely agree. Someday I'm scared that they'll not be able to talk to me. Remember Mario? But, yeah. But I think that's definitely crazy. That's too wrong.
I don't know, man. I forgot the question now that I was married.
About your child being able to talk to you. I guess it's a different sense because like I'm a girl to a girl and you're a guy, you're a boy to a boy. So I feel like that'd be different too. You know what I mean? The way relationships work.
I don't know. I feel like if my kid. Go ahead.
And men don't usually open up in our societal norm. So like, and I feel like our society's getting better at that. We're starting to normalize men having emotions, but we're still a long way from, you know, majority of men in the world being open with being like, I'm sad.
Wait, I was gonna say that if my kid were to open up to like a parent, I feel like it'd be my girlfriend, just because I was always open to my mom and not to my dad. Like, me and my dad never really talked like that until like I almost graduated high school. So I feel like if anything, I hope he talks to me too. But if he at least talks to her, then I'd be happy because it's one parent. It's better than no parent. So that's where I'm at with that. Yeah, I don't know what else.
I feel like, personally, my biggest fear when I become a father is that, like, my child will go through what I went through, you know, and maybe it might even be worse, you know, and they could be in a worse spot than even I was, and me not even having the option to help them because I don't even know what's happening. So that's a big fear of mine, and that's why I feel like I can kind of see where you guys are coming from when you guys say like how sad and these mixture of emotions you get because you have to spend time away from your children because of school, because of work, because I don't even have a child, and I feel like I would want to spend all the time that I could with my child if I did. And because, you know, I've held your baby in my arms, Mario, like, and like, you know, it's like, that's a little you, bro. Like, and so, you know, it's a, what's the word? Like an eye-opening moment to hold a little life in your arms. Like, and it's different when it's like, you know, oh, your aunt has a kid and it's your cousin, blah, blah, blah. Because, you know, like, that's just another addition to your family, I guess. Like, you're used to that happening. But, like, when your friend has a kid, or even, I feel like, I'd have to say, like, even when your brother, like if your brother had a kid, like, then it becomes different. Because then it's like...
Oh, you definitely have more sacred bonds with, the people, you know what I mean? I mean, you and Mario are very close, you know, you would consider yourself brothers, I'm sure, you know, so I think, you know, I can definitely see why you'd be like, it's your baby, it's a little you, like, yeah, it definitely is that, you know what I mean? I feel like that's how it was when I held my best friend's baby for the first time, you know what I mean? I had this little tiny Asian baby boy in my arm, I'm like, oh my god, this looks just like you, waiting to kiss on him, you know what I mean? Like, this is my baby, like, I could definitely understand that, you know what I mean? So, it's great to know that, you know, there is still people out there that see other children and see them like in their own little conditional love. Like, that's so sweet. Like, yeah, like I know my friends see that too, but like, you know, again, you know, men opening up with their feelings is a whole different thing to see too. You know what I mean? It's good to see men supporting men. You know what I mean? Like, fuck it up. That shit's lit.
Yeah, like funny story. Me and Mario, we went to go get acai bowls at Rio Acai Bowls downtown, and we had Mario's baby with us, and they thought that we were both the parents.
Yeah, I swear, dude, that was funny, but I was like, hey, like, whatever.
So, who was the man? Who was in charge?
I don't know. Mario was paying.
Yeah, Mario paid. you're in charge, Mario. You wear those pants, boy.
I wear these pants.
How about OT? The overtime.
Dang, that was a fun moment.
Yeah.
How funny is that? You know, but that's good to see that people are like, you know, normalizing that. You know what I mean? You wouldn't really see two guys and think, you know, oh, look at this family. So I mean, hey, kudos. You know what I mean? Society, kudos. Look at that.
No, we're hella laughing though. I forgot like who said it too, but like someone said it, and we just started hella laughing in the middle of the. It was like an empty place, no? Like it was like basically empty. And we just started like hella cracking up like in the middle of the restaurant.
Yeah.
I love food. I love food adventures. I'm very careful.
But yeah. Talking to you guys, it's very apparent, you know, that apparent, but
It's apparent.
No, but it's very apparent that being a parent affects you as a college student, and that being a college student affects you as a parent.
Oh yeah.
And so I think it's really great what you two have chosen to do as parents, to continue to be college students, because so many people, you know, decide that when they, you know, I have plenty of friends that, you know, female friends that when they became pregnant, they were like, that's it, I'm done with school. And to me, that's kind of like a really sad thought to have, because like, there's no reason why just because you have a kid, you can't go to school. Like they, and I think of Roosevelt a lot when I think about that. Because I mean, Roosevelt, we had plenty of teenage mothers, right? And so we were lucky enough at that high school to have a daycare, right?
Mm-hmm.
But how many high schools don't, right?
Yeah.
How many high schools, when a person has a kid, they have to be like, oh, there's no one to take care of my kid, so I have to do it. And like, even at Fresno State, thank God, like, I mean, I understand it's a higher education facility, it's a college institution, so it makes sense for there to be a daycare there, because it makes sense for parents to be at the school, or for you know, parents could be teachers, they could be students, they could be any number of people on campus in that situation. But we were lucky enough to go to a high school where they knew that teenage mothers were a thing, and that they weren't going away, and then you couldn't act like they were just some myth, and you needed to treat them not special, but you needed to accommodate to them, because they were a type of people going to the school. So I think that's why a lot of female students feel like they can't continue in education when they're pregnant, is because a lot of these schools don't have, like what Roosevelt had, an ability for you to take your kid to school and see them still, like, you know, like there's all this opportunity for you to go to school still, but there's plenty of schools, like majority of schools I say in the US don't have a daycare, and so you're just stuck there thinking like, oh well, might be my senior year, but oh well, right? Like,
hey, I was gonna cut you out and say that sometimes it's not even about that, and it's just their partner that they are with. Because I know a girl that I work with, and she said that the only reason she stopped going to school is because her man's wanted her to not go no more. Because she basically, in his mind, he's like, oh, you're the mom, you're gonna stay home and take care of the kid. I don't care about you going to school. I'll go and work. And so I mean, like, you know, I don't know how their relationship was, but you know, I don't know any good relationship that start off with that. So there goes that. So, you know, sometimes, you know,
I definitely believe that. I can definitely believe that. You know, there is a lot of cases where one of the spouses have to stop going to school because the other one doesn't like it. Now you're a parent and that's it, point blank, period. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
basically, like, you're wrung out, like, I'm used, that's what you're saying, like, I can't do nothing more. And even not, there's a lot of situations like that too. This doesn't have to be just a couple. Going back to like what Robert was saying, like, a lot of people, a lot of kids in high school, don't think they have the opportunities. They don't have the opportunities, and there's a lot of single parents, or just parents in general, that want to go to school. But then you have society telling them stuff like, oh, she's a single mom, but she has to go to cosmetology. That's what all single moms do. Like, okay, but they're still doing it. Like, why are you down talking anybody's education and them wanting to succeed? Like, you're over here and you're negatively talking about them, and that's making them not do it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't ever want to downplay someone. Like, you're really gonna be that negative, and it's not okay too. You know what I mean? So I think that there is a lot of aspects when it comes to like education and parents. You know what I mean? There's definitely deeper meaning, and like people are just so oblivious to it.
That it kind of reminds me of something, but as soon as I said it reminded me, it left my head. But I'm sorry.
Fresno moms be like cosmetology school.
Thank you. that reminded me. I do a lot of things, right? Not to brag, like, not at all. Like, I do a lot of things just so I don't have to think about how sad I am.
But gotta keep myself busy. No, definitely.
Yeah. But I do a lot of things, and the people that hear about the things that I do, mariachi, swim club. I just started the finance committee for Fresno State. Well, not started, but I'm in it. Like, I just started being in it. I already said mariachi, but
you're in your
mariachi
club.
Teacher. Yeah, mariachi teacher. I work with the city of Fresno. I do all this stuff, right? And I have people that tell me like, oh, people shouldn't have an excuse. Like, look at you, you do all this stuff and you still do this. And I always have to like tell them like, no, don't do that. Don't compare my story to someone else's, because when you do that, you discredit their struggle. Like, just because I'm going through something and it's terrible for me, or it might not be so bad for me, doesn't mean that like let's say my dog died. That wouldn't affect me so much, but another person's dog dies and they feel it because maybe that dog was the last connection to their grandmother they had or something. I don't know. Like, pain and sadness like that is very, very personal. That's why, like, I understand when people say stuff like, oh, how can you feel bad? There are people starving in third world countries and stuff like that. I understand that, and I get it. I completely do, and I believe we should be completely grateful for what we have, and for the stuff that we're able to do that in other places we wouldn't be able to, or in other places we wouldn't be able to have the things we have. But that being said, we're not in those places. All we've ever known is where we are and who we are. And so pain, according to you, is different than to someone else. That's why, like, you hear these stories about people that live in these great neighborhoods who still kill themselves. Like, it doesn't matter how much money you have or how much money you don't have. Sadness,
or even education.
Sadness will get to you, and it's all about you finding a way to get through it and work through it. Because unless you do that, you're not going to be able to live your life to your full potential. And then you guys being college students and parents, like, if somebody was dealing with these issues until they've completely dealt with their own issues, then I feel, or you guys can feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, But I feel unless someone like can like work through their issues, then they can't really offer their 100% as a parent or as a college student, because then you're always gonna have these things in your head, like, you know, running through you. Just like, how can you ever think that you're gonna be a good enough parent if you don't think you're even a good enough person? Mm-hmm. And so I mean, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. And obviously I'm not right. Like just because I'm saying something doesn't mean I'm right.
Yeah.
It's just my thought process, and that's what I think is like, how can you offer your 100% to someone else or something else if you can't even commit 100% to yourself?
Like, are you saying like how can someone become a parent? Like, I don't know, for okay, so like for myself, you know, for example, becoming a parent, it wasn't the plan, you know what I mean? But I felt like, you know, it definitely does depend on that person, you know what I mean? Like with my morals were, you know, well, first of all, let's do this, you know what I mean? As a woman, you know, or even as a man, you know, and you're doing anything like that, intercourse, all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, you know what you're doing with that other person, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you shouldn't just, you know, go in and be like, oh, haha, like, I'm pregnant now. Like, you know, like you do have a decision, and whatever you decide, of course, your decision, your body, all that, whatever. You know, but for me personally, I definitely don't feel like I was ready for kids. Me, myself, you know what I mean? I was barely finding myself, and it was like this big turn where I had to like re-navigate myself and recreate myself while not trying to get like stereotyped or like labeled or like put in one box, you know what I mean? So it is like really hard to give yourself to a child. But I mean, if you're having a child, I don't think it's like about being able to, it's about you have to do it, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you have to do it, you know? Yep. There is no I don't want to feed them. No, you got to feed that baby, you know what I mean? There is no, well, I want to go for a night walk. Like, no, there is no more of that. So it's like, now I got to figure out to go walk. That's 8 o'clock in the morning when it's daylight, because I still want to get that cardio in and be me, but I still got to take care of those babies. You know what I mean? So although it's not like, you know, I was ready to give myself to somebody, I don't feel like, you know, it was wrong of me to give myself to somebody, you know what I mean? I definitely should have waited, you know? I definitely don't think I was ready mentally. I wasn't ready physically, you know, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, who really ever is ready to be a parent? You know what I mean? Like, yes, you could be ready financially. Yes, you could be, yes, you could think you're ready, you know, mentally, you're gonna think you're ready. But to actually like hold that baby in your hands and be like, you know, again, you know, of course, you know, holding that life in your hands, totally different, you know what I mean? That will change your mindset, and it's like, wow, I thought I was ready. Guess I have to be now, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I could have skedaddled then, I really can't now. Like, I held it, I touched it, like, I touched it, great, my fingerprints are on it. No, but, you know, so it's just, it's definitely, I don't think about, like, being able to, it's just yourself, you know, like, you know it's gonna happen, and when it happens, you'll get your shit together. No, just kidding. No, you got 9 months to get your shit together. No, but
that makes me think of 2 shows in particular that just off the top of my head, since you were talking about that, it made me think of these 2 shows. One being How I Met Your Mother, and I had shown Mario this scene when he had first gotten his child. I showed him the scene of I think his name is Barney, right? The Playboy-esque kind of guy, but he, like, at the end of the show, or not at the end of, I can't remember when it was, but he gets a baby, and he's just like, because earlier in the show, like, I don't know, a while ago, he walks up to a girl and he's like, what do you want her to be like, you are the love of my life, everything that I am, everything that I will be is yours always and forever. And then he like does that to a girl, and he's just like, yeah, just get out of here. But then he's holding a baby, and he tells the baby that, and it's like a good callback to that moment, and it just shows that, like, this is the thing that he needed most in his life. Like, this is when he actually means what he's saying. Like this is, he really means that, like everything that he is and everything that he ever will be is going to be that child's forever.
Yeah, definitely. I
And
mean, you're taking a piece of you in like
Mhm.
life, man. It's so crazy. Like you never like, I'm sure like, even as a father, like to see, your girl's stomach to grow, you know what I mean? Feeling those kicks, hearing the heartbeat, seeing the ultrasounds, like that's a whole different, you don't know it unless you experience it. You know what I mean? It's a very, even labor and delivery. I'm not sure if your girlfriend went through a C-section or natural, but I mean, even though those are very like scary, tough times, and to have someone with you and to see it and then to see the little baby, it's such a
Yeah.
life experience. Like it's the most craziest thing you'll ever do in your life. Let me tell you that. Okay, you could jump out of an airplane. Labor's crazier. Let me tell you right now. You know what I mean? You might, okay, airplane's scary. Woo, this person just came out of me. Like, push this out. Like, bro, what it, like, I mean? We created this. Like, we're responsible for this for the next 18 years. Like, this isn't a dog. We can't rehome it. Like, this is our baby. Like, what the heck? So it's definitely changing. Eye opener. Scary.
Yeah.
and
But
then
all
the
blessings too. All blessings too.
sorry, you guys should be wearing masks. No. But the second show it makes me think of is one of my favorite shows of all time, besides Naruto. It's Doctor Who. In a recent series, the most recent season, or the newest incarnation, so starting with season 11 and season 12, we have a companion to the Doctor who is he pretty much grew up with his mom and dad until like I think he was like 8. I can't remember exactly, but it was only a portion of his childhood, and then his mom dies right in front of him, and so he calls the ambulance. All this stuff happens. His dad ends up leaving, and so he lives with his he calls her nan. I mean his nan. So his grandma. He lives with his grandma. And fast forward to the showtime, the grandma's dead. So all this is happening, and the dad doesn't show up to the funeral. Then season 12, he shows up, and it's just like all that can really be said, because they have this great conversation between father abandoning father and abandoned son, and they like talk, and there's this like moment of like I needed you to be here, like that's all you needed to be was here, but you left.
Yeah.
And so with you saying, like when you said like, oh, you have to be there, you have to do it, the honest truth is you don't. And I feel like that's what the scary part is that you have to make that decision.
Yeah.
And depending on what decision you make could be for the worst or for the better of the child. Yeah. And there's no way that you can know about that. And I feel like that's really scary. And
definitely.
And I just think about like, I mean, you can only wonder, like, how can you be willing to give up a life that you create, but then how can you be so sure you're ready to raise it, like you said? Yeah. So it's like, it's really, really crazy.
It is, especially, and to go back, like how do you know what you're going to do? You know what I mean? I think it does go back a lot on yourself, and reflects back on yourself. You know what I mean? I mean, like Mario, he's doing great. You know what I mean? Coming from an immigrant family, being first generation, like that's amazing. You know what I mean? Like, you don't see that very often. You know what I mean? It's coming up a lot now. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that are doing that, but it is hard to choose. Like what's right, what's wrong. Because there's even parents that won't be able to raise their first 3 children, but down the road is a great parent now. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I think it does like matter about like like, how do you say it? Like, it's hard to break the cycle. You know what I mean? So when you see it get done, it's really nice to see. So I guess to me, like, you know, it is, you know, a self-belief, you know what I mean? Like how you said, like, you know, to me, I do need to do it, you know what I mean? Like, I was raised to, you know, be better than my parents, you know, because they were trying to be better than theirs, you know, and I guess that's our cycle, and I'm just trying to keep that, you know what I mean? So it's a good thing to break the bad cycle, but to start a good one, you know? I feel like if we all did that a little bit more, it's a much more better community. Probably still as sad, but a little bit better.
And then to kind of like reach into the last few moments, I want to touch into one last topic, because I know we all have stuff that's due at midnight or 11:59. The last subject that I wanted to talk about might be a little personal, but I mean, all of this was personal, but it might be too personal for you guys to talk about, because it is well, it's kind of like a two-part question, but it does involve your partners. So how has being a college student affected your relationship with your partner, and then how did it change once you had your child, and then how is it now that you are a college student and a parent with a partner?
I don't know. Just letting you know, I'm at 1% on my iPad, so I might log out of nowhere. I don't know. I guess it has improved for me though, because it's like more supportive. Like, oh yeah, just get it done. It's not just it's for you and for all of us, so we could have a little better life. But I think it has improved from when I first started. It's more of a like I set a goal for myself for sure. So I don't know. All I gotta say is that it has improved, and I'm not trying to make it long because I'm at 1%.
Yeah. So Mario, before you leave and die out, I want to ask the question. Like we were talking about, like, you know, you have to make that decision whether you're gonna be there or not as a parent. What was your thought process when you found out that you had to have a child and you weren't done with college yet? Like, what were you thinking? Did you think like, oh, I'm not ready to be a father, I can't do this? Or were you like, it's time to man up, I gotta do this?
Honestly, I don't think it ever really hit me that I'm gonna be a dad, like, until like recently, because like I mean, I got told out oh, I'm having a kid. I'm like, okay, you're having a kid, and then my kid was born. I was like, oh shit, like he's really here. And even after that, it didn't really like hit me. And until recently, I don't know, I was just like, damn, like he really is here. You know, I'm gonna have to step up, like, and do like graduate and do this for myself. I don't know. It really did hit me once like not too long ago. So I don't know back then why I didn't or why it didn't, but now it did. So I'm like, shit, bro. I don't know. Sorry, man. I'm just say and. But hold up, before I do put out, I want to ask, like, to people that are watching, like, I don't know how many people are gonna be watching, but like, are they going through like stuff that we're going through? And if so, like, how do they manage? Like, do they have like a specific day that they go out with like their partner and their kid, or just their kid, and have like a alone time kind of thing? Like, you know, like, or are they working full time, or if they're working part time? I think it's interesting to know about other people's things too. And like, it was interesting to hear on Mary, just because I didn't know what she was going through, and so I think that's very interesting in general.
I think it's a great reminder that we're all in this together.
Yeah.
That sometimes all we really need to do is sit down and have some conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Just to sit down and talk. And
if you guys are ever sad and you want to cry with someone, let me know. I'm always down for a good crying session.
Nice.
Ugly cry, bad cry, whatever, you name it. He
there
went away.
No, but yeah, Mary, to your answers to the question.
Well, as for school, I mean, he could hear me, but I'm still gonna talk shit regardless because it happened and it is what it is. We're past that in our point. Um, well, at first, like even before baby, it wasn't very like supportive in that aspect. But again, um, I feel like it's hard to judge our relationship. I mean, me and my spouse, we've been together since we were eighth grade. You know what I mean? So we have had to do a lot of maturing together. Me being the girl, I feel like I've had to do it a lot faster. You know what I mean? I had more need to. I had more pressure on that kind of stuff. Um, so yeah, at first it was like really rough. I really didn't get very much support at all. Um, and then I kind of like just had to realize I'm gonna do it myself. I kind of had to like remind myself, I'm still married and I, get my stuff done by myself. I don't need that type of support. I'm willing to make sacrifices. You know what I mean? So at that point, when I didn't have the support I needed for school, and not because I didn't like have it around me, like family wise, it was more like my own personal self. I chose to drop out. I didn't think I was gonna not go back. It was definitely just like I needed a time to raise me and my baby and get in a good place with me and her spiritually, all that kind of good stuff. But I mean, I went back, I did it, I'm still doing it. Me and spouse are working at it, you know what I mean? Since he's been back, he's been real supportive, you know what I mean? I don't think I've ever been this supported by him in school, to be honest with you, even back in high school, middle school. So it's a nice change. It's real nice, you know what I mean? It's a lot easier, compared to that first year not having that spouse to sit there while I write an essay. The baby's crying, who's gonna hold her? It's me, So that's being taken off has been really helpful, you know what I mean? I've been really appreciative, been real grateful to be able to have that spouse and that support. It's definitely different. So I mean, to like anybody that does see this, like, you know what I mean? Like, if they're doing it and they're doing it without support, I like praise them. Like I highly I commend them. Like I applaud you because that is like some of the hardest stuff I have ever been through. And I mean, again, you know me, you know what I mean? I'm not like this like crybaby girl or like this weakling. So like to say like I've like been at my deep like lowest and like able to still do it, like, and I know other people doing it too, like I totally applaud that. Whether it's a single mom or a single dad. So to have the support is great. To not have it, it's shitty. But I mean, if you're doing it, like just know like your baby supported you. Like you're still doing it for someone's still supporting you, although they're not mentioning it now. So I definitely say support's great, but when you don't have it, it's not great. So, but what was the second question to that? It was,
how did you feel when you were a college student and then you had the baby? Was it like, oh my gosh, I'm not ready for this? Like, am I even going to go through with this? Or do I, what do I do?
I think I'm kind of like Mario, you know what I mean? Like in a sense, like I'm still realizing like, damn, like I'm really a mom, like I'm really doing this, like I really had a kid, like not just one but two, you know what I mean? So it's not just like I got one, I'm gonna give it to my mom and do my own thing. Like no, like I got two. Like if I don't make dinner, like these girls aren't gonna eat. If I don't wash clothes, these girls aren't gonna have clean clothes, So it's definitely a change from when I first had her. I mean, when I first had her, it was very scary. Very scary being a first-time parent, you know what I mean? Especially trying to have school and work all in that, you know what I mean? You definitely have to make decisions and sacrifices, and just doing it without a spouse is kind of like, it definitely makes it even a harsher experience. So, like, the ones that are doing it, like, again, like, round of applause, because it's hard. It's real hard to have to decide what's the best thing for your child. Really hard to put that decision on you, you know what I mean? Because like as a teacher, you know what I mean, it's easy. At the end of the day, your child goes home, you know what I mean? Like you still have a love for them and all that, but like you're not like actually responsible for them. Like pay their rent, give them food, like. So it's definitely crazy, especially trying to fit that in with your school schedule. Like it's like what do I prioritize? You know what I mean? And it's like, although you know your child's your top priority, like you kind of have to put them to the side because in the long run you're doing that for them. You know what I mean? So it's kind of it's real shitty. You know what I mean? The first year, it's like to make that decision. So I could definitely relate to the other parents that are going through that struggle. But that's how it was for the first year. But I mean, with two girls and having support, it's totally different. So much more easier. I'm so much more grateful and thankful. And it's just like I had to remind myself, you know what I mean, when I'm angry and like acting all mad because it's loud. Like, no, like, dude, it used to be worse. Like, don't forget, and like just be grateful that, you know what I mean, you have that help now. So it's real good. It's real good now. I love it.
I think it's important to note that you did give a second chance, because I personally believe that people can change. I believe that we become different people as we progress through our lives.
Oh, definitely.
To quote again one of my favorite TV shows, Doctor Who, the whole, like, the Doctor regenerates. So when he dies, he doesn't really die. He continues his life, but like as a different, he has like a different body, different face, different personality, but all the same memories. All like it's still him, but just a new
reincarnated type
kind of
deal.
Yeah, like it's just him, like, you know, but different body, different, you know, but yeah.
Is that on Netflix? I'm gonna look it up.
No, actually, it used to be on Netflix a long time ago. Not a long time ago, but back when we were in high school, it was in Netflix. But after that, it went to Amazon Prime. Then Amazon Prime let it go, and now HBO Max has it.
Okay, I think I have HBO Max on Hulu. Maybe. But is that Hulu? It's something like that.
No, but it's a separate streaming service.
Oh, okay.
But it is doing a special right now for $12 a month because of Doctor Who. But back to when one of the doctors regenerates, he says it's okay. He's like, if you think about it, we're all different people all throughout our lives. And that's okay, so long as we remember all of the people we used to be. And then he says, I will remember every single line of this. I swear, I will always remember when the Doctor was me. And so, I think it's important that we recognize that we do become different people as we progress through our lives. But at the same time, we can't forget who we were.
Oh, yeah.
And that we were those people. Because so many times it's very easy to look back at memories and be like, wow, that wasn't even me. Like just to throw a random memory out there, you know, I was not always the person I am today, obviously. Especially in middle school, I was this worst kid. One time I was chilling with some people. We were walking it from Awani. I don't know if you know where Awani is, but we were walking it from Awani to Fashion Fair, and on the way there,
That's a far walk.
It was what it was.
But it was definitely a fun walk. No.
Yeah, but we were walking there, and you know, pants low, shirts long, all that, and snapbacks. We just started throwing rocks at cars driving by. And we're just breaking windows, and then all of a sudden, like, we're just booking it, like we're booking it to Fashion Fair because we hear a siren, and it's just all this stuff is happening. And I look back at that, and I'm like, there's no way that was me. Like that's not something I could do, right?
Yeah.
But
wow, yeah, I would never expect that from you, not even from high school. You like that's crazy. The untold stories of Roberto.
Yeah. I had my aunt died my freshman year of high school of cancer, and one of the last things she ever told me was take care of your brother and your sister. Make sure you set a good example. And it just kind of always stuck with me.
Yeah.
And like one of the worst things, like, I mean, to this day it's a great thing that she told me, but it always leaves me with a sour taste in like the last words that I ever heard from her were, "I love you more." And I was like, I remember, like, I just walked away and I was just like, you know, I don't know, I guess, you know,
like, how are you supposed to, like, take that?
Like, 14, 15-year-old boy, like, of course I think I'm gonna talk to them again, right?
Yeah.
But that's the last thing that I ever heard.
Yeah. I think that even that right there is an eye opener, and like even that right there, I feel like she kind of put a unspoken weight on you. Like she like was like, you know, here you're stepping up now. You are now the man of your family. Like you're now the man. Take care of your brother and sister. Like that even puts a an invisible weight, and then to even leave it off with the "I love you the most," like that right there was like the unknown like little keypad onto the like make sure you do it. So I definitely see what she did, and although it was good in the long run, maybe like a really hard wait.
It messed me up for a good while, to where, well, there's a lot of stuff to I can unbox, but
I mean, I'm sure. I again, we know each other from school. Now I know your brother. You know, so I'm sure there's a lot to we could not really like understand. We could understand each other. That's a good word to put. You know what I mean? I could definitely sympathize, and without going into too much personal business of people. No, you know what I mean? Getting nervous. No, not trying to put no one's business out there. But yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy to even know. You know what I mean? Because knowing different people during different lifetimes, I would never have thought that from you. You know what I mean? Like, you bad kid? No, never.
Yeah,
never, not you. That's crazy. I used to throw Skittles at people, shoot up Skittles. No, just kidding.
It's just, you know, part of why I feel like education is so important. Because if I honestly feel if I didn't find the things that I was interested in school, then there would really be no reason besides, you know, the fact that I felt like I had to. But finding things that I was interested in made it better.
Yeah.
But that was a little off topic. But
it's cool.
That's fine. Again, you know, thank you for being a guest here. And then thank you, Mario. I know you're not here.
I'm so sad he cut out. We were having such a good, lovely time.
But it probably just means that he's charging it right now and starting on his homework.
Yeah, no, definitely. Those essays due at 12. As I'm looking at the 11:59. 11:59.
But yeah, that being said, you know, thank you both for being a part of this, and
dude, yeah, anytime.
I know that the topic was, you know, being a parent in college, but that's the beauty of what I'm striving for here. This Conversations with Robz, like I said in my last episode, I'm striving so that people can have conversations and we can talk about these things, because like we were talking about earlier about how too many schools don't have daycares or a education plan for early mothers, you know. And so I feel like that's something that we need, because it's a reality of our situation, of our lives, that a good amount of people that we know that are teenagers could be teenage moms, and
especially in our society.
Yeah, and so I feel like it's just something that we should address as a not a problem, like not saying like the women are the problem, but that the
accommodations aren't
the problem is the fact that the facilities are not offered to accommodate to these you know, people that are parents.
These young women, these young men and women. So it's not just you know, moms that are in high school, you know what I mean? I know there was a couple of dads that would take their child to Roosevelt too. So I mean, it's not just, you know, one or the other. You know what I mean? So it definitely is something that people should talk about and normalize. I don't see what's wrong with it. You know? I mean, let's be real. It's, you know, with how fast kids are. I mean, it's young parents not, you know, like, no, it's not gonna happen. Like, no, it's definitely gonna happen. And at this point, why can't we just educate and do better? You know what I mean? Like, let's help. Let's, instead of like making the problem worse, like, let's all come together and normalize, you know, and maybe even teach about safer sex, you know, like Friends Unified, how they took out sex ed, you know what I mean? Put it back. Put it back, teach the banana with the condom. Do it. You know what I mean? Like, this is, I definitely think they need to take a look at their like standards a little bit, you know what I mean? And
yeah, I remember sixth grade, being in sex ed in sixth grade, and like we all had to sign like a waiver, like our parents had to sign a waiver that was like, hey, you know, this is what we're gonna be talking about, is this okay? And then a cool thing that the sixth grade teachers, because all the male sixth grade teachers like taught it together. Like all of us went into one classroom, all the guys. And
it was separated, boys and girls. I remember that. Although I didn't do it till 7th grade.
But I mean, it might have been the fact that Fresno Unified was testing my school out. Because I went to Burroughs, and then they made our sixth grade. They made our sixth grade periods. So we had 6 periods that we had to go through. So it was something that they were testing out. We were the first year that they ever did it. But all the 6th graders, all the 6th grade boys, we went to that class, and all the 6th grade man teachers were teaching that sex ed. And the cool thing that they did, which I to this day I think is an amazing thing that they did, and you know, now that I think back on it, is they made a box, and you could, at any time during the day, you could drop a note in there asking a question about, you know, puberty, sex education, or anything to involve, you know, any questions you might have as a young boy coming up, you know, through whatever.
Yeah, it's a discreet. That's very discreet.
Yeah, and they would bring out the note and they would read it out in class, and they would talk about the subject.
Oh, nice.
And I remember my friends like dared me to put this question in, but in hindsight, it was probably because they were actually really, really curious.
Yeah.
The question was, if you have to pee during sex, what happens? And you know, the teacher.
I mean, you know, young, you know, innocent children. I mean, you know, that's not. I mean, it's a silly question, but I mean, it's a realistic question. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like, it's kind of good to know that children are, you know, children at the time were still so oblivious.
Yeah. And it's so my teacher ends up telling us, like, you know, there have been times when I'm having sex with my wife that I have to go pee, so I'll just stop and I'll go to the restroom and I'll pee, and then I come back. And I was just like, the simplest answer in the world, man. But like, everyone was just like it was funny because like they did it as a dare, so you know, it's supposed to be funny. And so like when he reads the question out loud, there's like a, you know, like a giggle here and there.
Yeah.
And it's like a giggle here and there, but then he starts answering the question seriously, and everybody was just like interested. And so it's like I think it's important, you know, that we take it seriously.
Oh yeah.
That sex education is taken seriously in the school setting, and I think it's important that happens. And I think it's great that you support that as a parent.
Oh no, I do. I even think you should teach your children the correct anatomy, even if they're young. My daughter, she knows a boy has a penis and a girl has vagina, you know, breast, all that, you know what I mean? Boy, girl, you know, I don't do the triangle, the cookie, the, you know, the snake. No.
Never heard that.
You know what I mean? I heard that if they say anything like that in court, if your child, you know, for some reason, God forbid, molested, the person, the pedophile, will not be admitted, I guess, or whatever. You know what I mean? They won't be found guilty if they don't if your child doesn't use the correct terminology.
Yeah.
So I mean, me, I'm all about like, no, that the correct anatomy for this is this. You know what I mean? So I definitely agree with the sex ed. You know what I mean? It's definitely something you should do. It's I know it's something like you wouldn't want to hear from a child. You know what I mean? It is a gross word. You know what I mean? But it's it's time for a change. It's just you know what I mean? Like all together.
I mean, there's scientific words.
There is. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong. You know what I mean? You're not saying anything wrong. It's a penis. It's vagina. Like this is something your child should know. You shouldn't make them ashamed of their body parts. You know what I mean? Just like sex education. You know what I mean? Silly questions, but it's questions people are really needing to know. You know what I mean? Like
I mean, last thing you want is for your boyfriend to pee in you. Like
that's like people really don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even with girls, like girls don't realize, once you hit a certain age, you have to go, to your OBGYN and get a doctor and do all of this. And I mean, you don't know that if you don't come from a good home or, someone who takes the time to explain that to you because they think that's a teacher's job, and it's like, there's resources to help it in schools, why not use them? You know Definitely. What I mean? Like, come on now. Like, dude, even at Roosevelt, for the feminine products for your monthly, they would charge you like 50 cents. Yeah. Like, bro, like, come on now. Like, y'all giving out condoms, like.
Yes, definitely. Free. I definitely agree with that.
Like, come on now. Crazy. Like that's something they could choose to do. Like, I can't choose to have a period. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I could choose to have a period, but that comes with consequences.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Fun fact is, I don't want to talk about anyone personally, so I won't mention their name. But I do know someone who doesn't have periods all the time. Like, they go like 7-8 months without a period. But then they'll have their period. They have like an irregular period cycle, and their doctor says it.
Even that, like, women don't think that's normal, but like there is women out there, like they're, like, you know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't unnormalize it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know someone else's body. There's girls as young as 8 having a menstrual cycle. Like, that's crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
An 8-year-old, like, really? Like, you wouldn't think that, but it's true. You know what I mean? Even young boys going to puberty that are young, 10, 11, 12. You know what I mean? It's possible. It happens. But sex ed, man. Sex ed. The Fresno Unified definitely needs to bring it back. Clovis Unified, Central Unified, all the Centrifieds. West Fresno Centrified.
But yeah, this has been a great conversation. I'll let you go so you can start that essay. But yeah, again, thank you for being a guest. Thank you, Mario, for being a guest. And yeah, this has been Conversations with Robz.